The self-proclaimed Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics announced sham referendums on the entry of Ukraine's territories occupied by Russia into the Russian Federation, and even set the dates between September 23rd and 27th. The day before, Kremlin propaganda reported that the so-called public chambers appealed to the heads of the occupation administrations to urgently organize unlawful voting.
It is actually an occupation institution. There is the public chamber and the Russian Federation. These are the so-called right public associations. These public associations appealed to the leaders Pasechnik and Pushilin, and they showed it as a kind of resonance. Remember the elections on the independence of the so-called Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics. They applied to the parliament. The Russian State Duma considered all this in one day, adopted, Putin signed, and a few days later the elections began.
The defeat of the Russian army on the battlefield is pushing Putin to hold sham referendums on the joining of Ukraine's territories occupied by Russia to the Russian Federation, because then, from the Kremlin's point of view, the deoccupation by the Ukrainian military of the territories temporarily occupied by Russia would be a direct attack on Russia and would allow Putin to declare a general mobilization, said the head of the Luhansk Regional Military Administration, Serhiy.
Since they are losing on the battlefield, the only thing left for them to do is to hold quickly organized referendums, of course sham referendums, with drawn results, in order to join the occupied territories of Ukraine to the Russian Federation.
Earlier, a video showing the head of the occupation administration of the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic, Pushilin, discussing joint preparations for a sham referendum with his colleague from the self-proclaimed Luhansk People's Republic, Pasechnik, was posted on social networks.
I believe that we need to prepare some issues together, some actions need to be synchronized, and I have a proposal to detach the efforts of the administrations, of the heads of the republics.
Between September 23rd and 27th, it is also planned to hold sham referendums in the Kherson and Zaporizhia regions occupied by the Russian army. According to the Russian propaganda media, a sham referendum in the Zaporizhia region is going to be held on Friday, September 23rd, and from September 23rd to 27th, in those communities in the region where voting stations have not been created. The residents of Zaporizhia have already expressed their opinion on this issue. These are sham referendums, and I beg you very much, never go for it, don't be caught in their trap, because it will not bring you anything good.
Nonsense. Well, who will legalize them? On what basis they are held? It's all nonsense.
These referendums are illegal, and in general this is an occupation. These are our territories and they will be ours. The holding of sham referendums is a chance for Putin to strengthen his position in the Kremlin, experts say.
They cannot remove the old dictator. They can either throw him in the coffin or promote him to the head of the Union state. And now, you see, Putin's position is very weak. This pushes them to the fact that it is necessary to hold sham referendums as soon as possible in order to send the dictator to the transit of power.
However, neither sham referendums nor hybrid mobilization will change anything, says Dmytro Kuleba, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine.
Russia has been and remains an aggressor, illegally occupying parts of Ukrainian land. Ukraine has every right to liberate its territories and will keep liberating them, whatever Russia has to say. Dmytro Kuleba, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, on Twitter.
Moreover, no sham referendums will stop the counteroffensive of the armed forces of Ukraine, the Office of the President of Ukraine stated.
Naive blackmail with threats and horror stories of referendums, mobilizations from those who know how to fight only with children and civilians. This is how defeat-related fear looks. The enemy who is terrified manipulates crudely. Ukraine will solve the Russian problem. Only by force can it be eliminated. Andriy Yermak, head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, on Telegram. Russians decided to respond asymmetrically to Ukraine's counteroffensive, thinking that illegal referendum will stop HIMARS and the armed forces from destroying occupiers on our land. Do you really want to spend the time needed to escape for a new show? Try! It will be interesting. Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, on Twitter.
The response to the Russian sham referendums should be sanctions and weapons for Ukraine, said Minister of Foreign Affairs of Latvia, Edgar Rinkevich. He said that the international community should, quote, say no to Russian blackmail, reported by Ksenia Buga, Yulia Granovska, UATV News.